Hey, REDBET here with another quick video. We're going to be talking about a safety device that has come to prominence and has come to highlight in the past few weeks, the Halo device. But what is the actual Halo device? What is it? What does it actually do? And how is it useful? It was introduced in the past few years in 2018, and it was introduced in Formula One along with some other racing series. So it wasn't like the religious halo you see on Jesus or some other religious figures. No, not like that. Not like that. At first when it was introduced, it was like, what the F is that? How is this piece of metal supposed to protect the driver? It was introduced to protect drivers from flying debris. Just want to remind you to subscribe and like the video. We're trying to get the subscribers up. Let's get to 500 subscribers. So there was a crash at the British Grand Prix a few weeks ago with Zhou Guanyu getting flipped over, and the halo protected his head. He probably maybe would have been severely injured or even fatal, but with the halo device, it really protected him there. The halo device is made out of lightweight titanium tubing and can deflect objects traveling at 150 miles per hour or 241 kilometers per hour. It's secured to the car chassis at 3 points. It weighs about 20 pounds. And it can withstand 12 tons of weight in case of impact. What's 12 tons of weight? That's a double-decker bus or a little more than a male and female elephant. A double-decker bus weighs about 12 tons. It was trialed in 2016 before becoming mandatory on all F1 cars by 2000. The device soon became mandatory in other racing series, such as the Indycar racing series and the Indylights racing series, Superla Formula Light, and the Euro Formula racing series. It is made of titanium grade 5 alloy, and it has 20 millimeters area of freedom for engineers to play with. When it was introduced, Sebastian Vettel said, "The device can be ugly as possible as long as it helps save lives." Toto Wolff stated, "If you give me a chainsaw, I would cut it off." Fernando Alonso stated after a crash in 2018, "I think the aesthetics are terrible, but having it save Charles from harm and injury makes it all worth it. It could have been very nasty." Lewis Hamilton said around that time, "Worst looking modification in history of the sport. It's too drastic." But after a crash with Verstappen in 2021, he said, "Thank God for the halo, which saved me and saved my neck. I feel incredibly blessed that someone was watching over me today." Max had to say, "There needs to be a certain element of risk. You can improve the car and we do not need this thing on top of it. It's not just the looks. I don't think it's necessary." How does aerodynamics affect halo? Peter Prodromou of McLaren Racing stated, "The challenge in the first instance is to cope with it and minimize the losses and therefore think about the opportunities to exploit, because it does open up some avenues that are potentially interesting. There are various implications on how it affects the flow into the engine air intake, including certain cooling ducts that the teams have in that area, including ourselves, and how it affects the cooling onto the rear wing." In regards to how it would affect weight on the cars, technical director Andy Green said, "Weight was a big part of it. The weight limit did not go up, but not by much, not as nearly as much as the installation weight of the halo." He also stated, "This puts additional stress on other parts of the car to try and optimize the weight in those areas to keep the weight limit below the minimum so that you can run ballast. The other area we have to bear in mind is that we have to hit a weight distribution target as well, so that only has a very small window of weight distribution. Therefore, the architecture of the car needs to be correct to start with, otherwise you're adding ballast to a car that doesn't need ballast. You just need to get the weight distribution right, and we knew we couldn't afford to do that." Engineers had a few things to consider once adding the halo. And when it comes to ballast, what are ballast? Ballast weight is something that's added to a car to alter its performance. In most racing series, cars have a minimum weight. Often the actual weight of the car is lower, so ballast is used to bring it up to the minimum. So they're kind of like small weights that they can put in parts of the car to help it bring it up to an actual weight, a required weight that is needed. So it's safe to say the halo is providing life-saving technology. That not only one incident, but several incidents since it's being introduced in 2018. I agree, it looks ugly. It's a damn eyesore, but rather an eyesore than losing a life at the track. So you live to race another day, so to speak. Racing already has an inherent risk. We know racing is dangerous. We know you can get seriously injured or even die. That's the reality. Everybody knows it. It's not an intrusive device. It's not hindering performance of the cars, the halo. It will be here to stay in several racing series for the time being. There has been great safety advances over the past 2 decades in Formula One to attempt to make racing safer. Along with having lesser deaths in racing, this is a plus. Even though we want the car to look like a Gran Turismo car from PlayStation, that's not realistic. I mean, we don't want it to be bumper cars and racers racing in a bubble, but added safety measures is a good thing. You want to be able to walk on Monday after race day Sunday. Leave a comment, let us know. Do you think Halo is a life-saving device? Please subscribe to the channel. We'll be having more racing videos this week. We have the French Grand Prix, and I'll be doing a qualifying video and also videos just on the race, okay? Hope you liked the video on the Halo. REDBET signing off.